The Dagestanis were running rampant. Khabib had just got done running through the lightweight division on top, untouchable. His protege, Islam Makhachev, comes in like a bat out of hell, beating every single person in front of him, then submitting the best submission artist in the UFC. Our only hope now was Alexander Volkanovski, a 5'5", 145-pounder. So there basically was no hope. There was no hope at all. In fact, there was the opposite of hope. There was just this sense of impending doom coming. We all knew that Russia was taking over the UFC, and there was nothing no one can do about it. If you did not have Russian blood in your body, if you had not grown up with a little Sambo gi on from the age of 5 onward, if you hadn't been wrestling bears, good luck, because you're not fit for this sport. You're not fit for it. Soon, Russia was going to take over the entire world. We were all going to be second-class citizens. We were all going to have those chin-strap beards with no mustaches. It is going to be the end of any other race. But then, Volk enlisted the help of one man. Craig Jones. But who is Craig Jones? Well, let me enlighten you. Craig Jones is the best jiu-jitsu player in the world at getting second place. Craig has a silver medal in the 2019 ADCC World Championships, which, to be fair, I think Craig is the best guy in the division by far, but when a match is decided by points, a real scrambly wrestler can just kind of squeak one out at the very end, but that's a problem with jiu-jitsu as a whole. But don't worry, because Craig's coming back in the next ADCC to get second place again. This time, though, he moved up to 99 kilos over 88, and he was very undersized, and in the finals, he just got manhandled by someone way bigger than him. But his best accolade, the thing that he is the most known for, at EBI in the finals, Craig was going against Gordon Ryan, the greatest no-gi submission grappler of all time. By far, no one is even close. And this happened.
Yes.
Armbar. Gordon Ryan in trouble.
He's got it.
Craig Jones trying to make something happen.
He's
the king, Gordon Ryan,
he's got
in deep
Gordon is not tapping.
trouble.
Gordon will not tap. He's corkscrewing and he's out.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my God. And that's exactly what he said would happen.
But the question is...
And you guessed it, Craig got second place. So you know Volkanovski has the right guy for the job. I wouldn't want any other person in my corner devising a strategy of how we're going to beat the scariest grapplers in the UFC. I mean, this guy has match of the year at ADCC against Nicholas Marigali, the greatest gi player of all time.
Right? Yeah, but, I mean, now Marigali's
letting him actually get in here and play a game. Oh, he's going to the instructional material. False reap. Craig uses it to come on top.
That great
Beautiful.
defense from
And then will lose a submission grappling match to Sean Brady, an MMA fighter. I would have been offended if Volk went with someone else. Let's just say that. But what did Craig do? What did Craig come up with? What did he figure out? What groundbreaking secrets did he find out about these two Dagestanis? Well, he said a lot of things that I've been saying for quite a while now, and that's the reason I like him.
Islam's had some big submission victories in previous fights, predominantly over strikers. He did submit Charles Oliveira, which is obviously very impressive, but Charles Oliveira was almost unconscious at that point. Most of these things I said before the fight, everyone attacked me online.
I love this point because it seems like not enough people bring this up. It is amazing that Islam subbed Charles Oliveira. Insane that he did that, but it's not insane for the reason most people think. They don't realize if you peeled Islam off right before Charles tapped and tried asking him who the president was, Charles would probably just stare at you. He might even make a donkey noise or something. I don't know why, because he's unconscious, that's why.
Sambo is not the best pure grappling art. Any time a Sambo guy grapples a jiu-jitsu guy in a grappling setting, he gets submitted time and time again. Jiu-jitsu is better at submissions than Sambo. That's a fact. That's undeniable. Even One Championship is doing this stuff, and you saw the Sambo guy just let his leg get broken by Mikey in a million different ways.
That ankle in the beginning, and he's just going back to the basics.
Back at Quintet, I think it was 2018, we faced the Sambo team. And I guess this might be a Sambo thing, but that guy let me break his leg in a very horrible way.
As casual as you like.
Okay, this point right here, another one that just gets me fully chubbed. Love this point, and I've said it before. If you put Sambo in a grappling match with Jiu-Jitsu, they get destroyed. When you transition to MMA, Sambo has more emphasis on takedowns and control. That is why it's so good in MMA. But in a pure grappling sense, Jiu-Jitsu players are going to rip the ankles of these Sambo guys right off of their bodies. Every time. Unequivocally. Every time. Yeah, you get the point.
Islam is an excellent freestyle wrestler. He has excellent throws as well. He combines the wrestling and the judo very well, which obviously a lot of Russians do. He does have very good pinning ability, but like I said previous, the guys that are going to be the best at pins are going to be American folk style wrestlers. Islam has freestyle wrestling. He has some Sambo submissions.
This is the meat and potatoes. This is where things get interesting, because most people, right, all the casuals out there, you watching this video who really should not be commenting on MMA, but you still do, were the ones saying Islam's going to take him down, he's going to submit him round one, no question. But you don't know how he's going to do that, right? You never did. When you were watching Khabib, same thing, you did not know what they were doing. You were just like, well, I mean, I don't know, they just kind of grab you, and then you end up on the ground, and then they beat you, and that's just kind of how it works with everybody. And no. Craig looked at it and went, okay, well, what techniques are they using? Okay, interesting. He's using freestyle wrestling at a high level. He supplements judo in with it really well, which is very unorthodox and why it catches so many people off guard. And he has a lot of jiu-jitsu techniques he uses once it gets to the ground. Perfect. Now let's start devising how we're going to counter those specific moves. He looked at it intelligently, which I think is your issue, was that you weren't looking at it intelligently. You were looking at it more like an idiot. You were looking at it more like someone who's stupid and who shouldn't be, who just shouldn't be alive. The fact that Darwinism has brought you this far not only amazes me, it probably amazed your parents, it probably amazed all your teachers growing up, it amazed everybody, really, it really did.
His Sambo and freestyle wrestling, and he throws in some jiu-jitsu techniques. You see, he uses jiu-jitsu moves on the ground. So when we looked at that fight, we knew that Volkanovski would be able to get back up, and he would be able to get back up through the turtle position. The only way you're going to get up in MMA is through turtle. No one's going to give you enough space to stand up with that 1990 technical stand-up bullshit, right? You're going to have to turtle to get back up.
Volkanovski used turtle beautifully to stop Islam from getting his hooks in. You can see here in the second round, Volk is turtled, and he uses his arm right there to block the space for Islam to get that hook in. And that's beautiful. That's jiu-jitsu right there. You can see here, though, in the fourth round, Volk got too cocky. He was talking to Islam's corner. He was turtled. He was trying to walk himself to the fence, but he wasn't using his elbows to block the space, and Islam slid his hooks right in. You know Volk is probably pissed about this one, because he could have prevented that if he had just turtled a bit better there. Last but not least, the most beautiful move that Volk used in this fight was in the fifth round, and you know what? I'll let the great Viras Sahabi open this one up for us.
Especially in round 5, guys, and I want to credit Craig Jones. Guys, I want to credit Craig Jones, okay, the B team mastermind, let's call it. He trained Volkanovski. I guarantee you it's him. I guarantee you. Like, I can't imagine any other coach adding this to somebody's game, okay? He taught him the Yoku Sumigeshi, the butterfly hook off a wrap. I don't think I've ever seen it used in UFC. It's a maneuver I teach all the time. I love it. I absolutely adore it. I learned it from John Denahar. He absolutely loves it. It's a beautiful maneuver. It's a matter of time before the next generation start to copy him. But I think it's the first time we've ever seen it in the octagon.
Craig actually released an instructional called Just Stand Up 2 months before the Volkanovski fight. And if Islam had watched this DVD, he would have crushed Volk. Because Craig actually credited the Dagestanis with their ability to get an opponent down and then pin them, hold them down. And he went over all the steps you can take to counter this. So I'm sure Islam's kicking himself for this one. I'm sure he is. All he needed to do, buy this DVD, $200, boom. He would have known Volk's entire game plan. But unfortunately, he missed his opportunity.